Hello everyone, MPI here. Welcome to yet another video about Pokemon TCG. Now, I've been thinking about this one for quite a while now, and I finally found some time to make it. So, basically this video is gonna be a tier list about the Pokemon Sword and Shield era TCG. So it's a mostly subjective thing. Now note that this is a list, a collector's list, and not just that, it's a personal collector's list. So everything in here is my opinion and my opinion only. It does not take into account the competitive viability of each set or any of those things. It's just purely what I like best. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, we begin in the Sword and Shield era with, of course, the Sword and Shield base set. It was released on February 7, 2020. Notable cards in here are Marnie, Quick Ball, Zacian and Zamazenta Secret. And there are some notable changes here in which the Fairy type was removed and got replaced by Psychic types. The Poison type was also removed from Psychic types and are now Dark type. Overall, I would place the Sword and Shield base set in the C tier as it's kinda middling. It's not bad, there are worse stuff out there, but you know, it's not the worst. If Marnie wasn't in there, it might have gone D tier, but there's one card that saves it. Next, we move on to the second set of the Sword and Shield era, Rebellion Crash. It was released on May 1st, 2020. Notable cards in here are Bossosaurus, Sonia, and Frostmoth. This is the first set to introduce shinies as full art secret rares, and are the first to release them in pairs. So in here, there are two secret rares, Frostmoth and Berserker. But at the time of its release, Frostmoth was actually considered quite a pull. But now, of course, with all of these new cards coming out, it's lost some of its value. But overall, I think it's pretty bad. I put it in D tier, but it's pretty close to C tier. It's pretty close to being average, but I just can't see myself like actually going out to buy it willingly unless I get it at a pretty good deal or something. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, next we move on to the third set, Darkness Ablaze, which was released on August 1st, 2020. And as you can expect from a set like this, it's basically got a Charizard VMAX, and that's about it. There's nothing much else in there. To me at least, I think people might disagree, but to me, this set just has Charizard VMAX going for it. I wouldn't collect it. I wouldn't collect the set sealed either, because I personally don't like it too much. So I'm throwing it to the C tier, average, only because of the Charizard. Next, we move on to the first special set of the Sword and Shield era, Champion's Path. This was released on September 25th, 2020. Notable cards in here are, of course, the Charizard V Shiny, the Charizard VMAX Rainbow, the Gardevoir VMAX, which is not really much of a chase, but it's the closest thing to a pull here, and my personal, I consider it a pull, you know, especially since there's pretty much nothing in here. There are 3 Charizard cards in here. So the Charizard V promo is also notable because this card was actually very hard to get in Japan. In Japan, these were given out as tournament cards. So yeah, we got off pretty easy with that. Overall, this set is basically a Charizard hit or miss. The promo is interesting, but we get it so often, guaranteed. And there's so many in circulation that it's basically lost all of its value. It's not a particularly amazing card, like its art's just pretty normal. So it lost quite a bit of value there. But if you're a Charizard fan, this would be a very nice set for you. But not so for most of the general Pokemon fans. And one thing rather interesting is that for the first time, we get a card earlier than the Japanese version. And which card is that? That's the Charizard V Shiny. This was a component of the Shiny Star V, which we got much earlier than them because the Shiny Star V was released on November 20th, 2020. So effectively we got it almost 2 months earlier, which is quite interesting because that has never happened before. We were always one step behind the Japanese cards, so that was pretty interesting. I put it on the B tier solely because of all the Charizard inclusions, so basically for a relatively small set with some, I'd say it's pretty good. However, the products actually leave a little bit to be desired because they released all these gym leader packs, but then they are not exactly representative of that. Like, the cards in there are kind of meh. All you get is a little badge, so it's like, it's basically just a sell of extra stuff, you know, because all of these special sets, in English, we get them in just the little ETBs, we don't get them in a set like Japan does, so yeah, it's just a way to throw off some goods. Not the best, but not the worst special set. Next, we move on to Vivid Voltage. This set is pretty similar to Champion's Path in that there's only one theme, and that's Pikachu. It's Pikachu or bust, basically. In fact, I would say it's either Pikachu VMAX Rainbow or bust. Because Pikachu V is nice, but the rest of the cards have been dropping in value and might not retain their positions as fan favorites. And what do I mean by that? I mean the notable cards in here are only Pikachu VMAX Rainbow, arguably the largest and only hit here, Pikachu V Full Art, Nessa, Bia, and Leon. While you may like these trainers, and I do, but in terms of value, they've been dropping quite a bit. So it's kinda hard to put it up high, but I'd still put it at B tier. It's dropping dangerously close to C for me, so you know, maybe if the Diamond Pearl Platinum stuff does better, I will drop this to a C. Well, just in my mind, I probably wouldn't make a video about it, but yeah, that's how I look at it. Now, moving on, we get Shining Fates, which was released on February 19th of 2021. This is our second special set, and the first special set of the year, this year actually. And spoilers, one of my least favorite sets, but you know, let me just explain myself. Okay, it's the first shiny set of the year, end of the Sword and Shield era. I mean, Champion's Path was kinda like that, but it only had a few cards, it didn't have that many in there, so the Charizard V Shiny was shifted to Champion's Path back in this September 2020. It was supposed to be in this set, but we didn't get it here. So all we got here is quite literally the Charizard VMAX Shiny or bust. If they left it here, it could have been two hits, you know, just Charizard V Shiny and the Charizard VMAX Shiny. But as a result of that Champion's Path thing that went on, all we have here is a Charizard VMAX Shiny. So it's quite a gamble actually. It was also printed to Oblivion subsequently up to a Wave 3. And there was a Shiny Vault to spice it up. But the selection of Pokemon in there was not really to my taste, unlike the previous Shiny Vault, which was Hidden Fates. The EV VMAX given with the ETB is actually very nice, similar to how the Charizard V promo was given to us. This EV VMAX in Japan is also relatively exclusive compared to its English counterpart, but over here you get it like as if it's just water, so yeah. So in conclusion, for this set, unfortunately, since its notable cards are only Charizard VMAX Shiny, EV VMAX, Suicune, Drizzle, and Skylar, so rather unfortunately, I'll have to put it in the D tier. This is one of my least favorite sets, personally. I think in terms of value, it's rather crap. It's pretty much a gamble on whether you make anything back or whether you can get anything you like back, because the selection of Pokemon here is rather poor. Yeah, it's not a lot of good stuff in there. Unlike Generations, Hidden Fates, and all those cool stuff. Alright, so now we're ending kind of a generation, so we're moving on to the first proper set. Well, I wouldn't call it a proper set, you know. It's it's after the expansion. You could say it's a TCG expansion. Yeah, that sounds good. It's a TCG expansion set. So it's an expansion of an expansion, you know, because it's based off the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion, Isle of Armor. So we are moving on now to Battle Styles, released on March 19th, 2021. This is the first actual set of 2021 to me because, Shining Fates is a... no. Okay, so let's get back on track. Starting off with quite the fanfare too. Finally introducing the alt arts into the Sword and Shield era, with Urshifu taking the center stage. I'd rate this well solely for the fact that it introduced very new stylistic artworks with various themes. If it were not for Urshifu being in a relatively uninspiring DLC, I'd give this a higher score, as alternate arts will always have a place in my collection. With that being said, notable cards in here are all, of course, alternate arts. Tyranitar V, Urshifu V Max, Single Strike, and Urshifu V Max Rapid Strike, as well as the Houndoom Shiny. The normal alt arts are pretty nice too, but just, you know, I can't select all of them, so these are my personal picks. So let's go ahead and move them to the A tier. Next is Chilling Reign, just in time for the Isle of Tundra DLC, released on June 18, 2021. Of course, this is a continuation of Battle Styles, so the notable cards in here are mostly, again, alternate arts, because they're just that great. So, the cards in here are Blaziken VMAX, the Galarian Bird Trio, the Shiny Snorlax, the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX alternate art, and the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX alternate art. This is quite an excellent set, and Snorlax will, for the foreseeable future, be a crowd favorite. The Galarian Bird Trio also features very distinct and excellent artwork, and the Blaziken features art inspired by the RPG boss battles, as shown by the Pokemon standing atop of the tower and facing that giant Blaziken standing there. Personally, I'm not a fan of this card, but it's definitely unique. Well, good or bad, unique, I'm not too sure, but it's definitely unique. Calyrex VMAXs might not age too well, as even though the art is fantastic, since they're not making too much of an impression, which is quite a shame, it might die off rather quickly. Unfortunately, the Celebi V promo was actually cut from the set's products to be added back in Fusion Strike, which, if they included here, would actually make this set very, very good. But overall, I'd say it's an excellent set, so I'm giving it also the A tier. It's actually pretty close to a B for me, but like arguably it could be a B, but... And if the Celebi was in here, I'd say it's pretty close to an S, but since we got what we got, it's gotta go there. Next is my favorite set of the year, and perhaps in this era, Evolving Skies, which was released on August 27, 2021. The notable cards in here, oh man, there's so many. Alright, let's just count them off. Rayquaza VMAX, Umbreon VMAX, Sylveon VMAX, Rayquaza V, Glaceon VMAX, Umbreon V, Leafeon VMAX, Dragonite V, Leafeon V, Sylveon V, Espeon V, Glaceon V, Rayquaza VMAX Rainbow, and the Umbreon VMAX Rainbow. Now, those that I didn't say a suffix for, just assume they're alt arts because every single one of them has an alt art, and they're not just normal, they're fantastic. I had to drag the F because you know what I was trying to say, but I can't say it, so they're fantastic. Okay, that was quite a mouthful, but need I say more? Look at this, top tier set, tops even some set from Sun and Moon. The insanity of a whole set full of EVs is much to behold. This isn't even its final form, because they had to nerf this set by removing Flareon, Jolteon and Vaporeon V alt arts and their VMAXs, just to make sure people don't go too crazy for this box, because otherwise it would be too OP. I'd say this would be like SSS tier if they included everything. The Espeon VMAX alternate art was also not included and was thrown in the Fusion Strike. One of the best sets in recent years, this set is seriously unrivaled in terms of hits. None of these will age poorly, I guarantee it. So, well, maybe not guarantee, but it's highly unlikely that this set will age poorly. And this is just the notables too. There are quite a few decent hits in this set. And, you know, just discounting them, look at this. You heard what I said about all these notable cards, so it's just insane, man. It's crazy. And of course, after ranting this much about the set, it, without a doubt, belongs in the S tier. If it were any better, I would make it an SS. I'll make a rank just for it, but unfortunately, it got nerfed, so it goes in S tier. You see, it even goes in S tier even after it got nerfed. Can you imagine how crazy this set is? But unfortunately, my luck wasn't too good. I didn't get many of these hits that I wanted. That's always next time though. Or you could just buy the singles. Anyway, moving on. We now come to the most, I'd say, divisive set of this era, which is Celebrations. So this set is very mixed for me. So the notable cards in here are the Shiny Mew, Surfing and Flying Pikachu VMAX, Birthday Pikachu, Charizard, Umbreon Star, Shining Magikarp, Gardevoir EX Delta, Blastoise, Venusaur, and Mew EX. There's a few in there you could like consider, but personally, anything that's past the EX era, I feel is a little too new to be included here, especially the GX stuff. It's like literally right behind us, so I don't know why they're in here. And I don't know why Donphan is in here. God damn, I got so many of him. I'm still trying to complete my master set. Well, anyway, this set does not contain a lot of hits, considering what it is, because it's meant to be a celebration of Pokemon's legacy, but a lot of the cards in here are rather questionable, so let's just say we include some competitive cards like Claydol, but honestly, do we really want it? And as you can see on the Troll and Toads and TCG players and all that, the answer is no. Nobody wanted them. Okay, they might have been a part of history, but nobody wants them. Come on. They had to throw some cards in there to make it not too good. But anyway, it has a small set size of 50, which makes it very collectible. There's a lot of nostalgia involved in this set of some, like I said, questionable choices like Donphan Prime, Team Rocket Admin, Team Rocket Strikes Back, Imposter Oak, Dark Gyarados, etc. Overall, it's a fun set to pull, but its future is quite uncertain. However, this set's products feature some of the best of this era, which includes the Pikachu V Union, the Zacian box with, I'd say, the best pin Pokemon has ever released in the card game world, the Ultra Premium Collection, if you could get it. But if you did, I think most people would agree, it's an absolute banger of a product. It's so good, man. It's so much. The gold metal card of the Pikachu and Charizard. Man, that's so good. And the gold Pikachu and the Pokeball. Oh, man, that's good. But only if you could get it for a reasonable price, of course. It's at its peak, I think it was around 800 SGD, so that's rather crazy. Moving on, the promos are actually worth collecting by themselves. So I actually currently own the Celebrations Master Set. Of course, without the Classic Collection, I'm still working on that. I've also gotten the full Master Set of the promos in Celebrations. So it's actually quite fun to do because unlike the rest of the sets, there are only 50, and with the promos I'd say around 70 cards in here, which is around the average set for a special Japanese product. One of the easiest to collect for English actually, because the rest of them are like 184, 200, that's like crazy, man. How are you gonna collect everything? Where are you even gonna store those cards, man? But yeah, collecting a master set for this would be very nice. I'd advise anyone who is rather averse to collecting master sets due to how many cards you have to collect to at least try to collect the Celebrations one, because honestly, just flipping through an album, knowing you own every single one of the cards in there that makes up the collection, it's quite a feeling, honestly. I usually collect singles, so I don't really experience that much. So feeling it now is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, moving on to some say the last set of this generation, but I disagree. And you'll know why after this. But let's continue and go to the Fusion Strike set, which was released on November 12th of 2021. And so for Celebrations, I would put them in the A tier. Pretty good, lots of nostalgia, very nice cards, but lots of like stuff in between, you know, that makes it not so good. I put it in S tier if it were better, like Evolutions or, you know, but well, I put it at an A, but it's dropping really close to a B. If they had replaced some of these cards like the Shining Magikarp, Gardevoir, or the Mew EX with some less savory cards, I would definitely drop this to a B. But for now, as it is, you can stay at A tier. Now, we're moving on to, some people would say, the final set of the era, but I disagree, and you'll see why later. Of course, this is Fusion Strike, released on November 12th, 2021. Notable cards in here are Gengar VMAX, Espeon VMAX, Mew VMAX Rainbow, Mew VMAX Alt Art, Mew V, Alt Art Inteleon VMAX, Alessa Sparkle, Shauna, Genesect V, Celebi V, and Fluffy Secret. Anyway, just to remind you all, if I didn't see anything after the VMAX or the V, assume it's an alt art, because from that generation, from Battle Styles on, they started including alt arts. So for easier speaking, I just leave out the alt arts. So yeah, hopefully that's fine with you all. Anyway, I've gone through this in a video of mine. I'll link this in the description too. But this set is rather lackluster as a closing set to run off the year, or even the era. Keep in mind that even though Brilliant Stars is technically part of the Sword and Shield sets, it is a technicality. It has introduced a new mechanic, the V-Star, and is likely resetting itself to become alt-artless, which happens during an era change. If you look at the Cosmic Eclipse and the move to Sword and Shield base. In summary, there are too many non-hit full arts, too many cards, the chance to miss is uncomfortably high, a lot of the hits were cards cut from the previous sets or products, and nothing new is introduced. Cosmic Eclipse was the previous closing set, and that was a fantastic product. There are some hits here, but for one that's meant to run off the year, it's rather disappointing. An above average but still relatively mediocre set due to how hard it likely will be to obtain the cards, or even worse, collect a master set of this. It's gonna be crazy, man. You're gonna... the amount of space and money you'll take is insane. I do not advise collecting a master set of Fusion Strike, but if you choose to do so, good luck, and I wish you Godspeed. And, oh, before we move on, let's just assign it Fusion Strike to B. Okay, Now, this is the... I've left a comment on a video or two regarding this, but I would say Brilliant Star, as a technicality part of the Sword and Shield era, has a huge potential to stand at the top of S tier, even beyond Evolving Skies. Now, why would I say that? I've actually gone through this in another video, which I'll link in this description, but this set is shaping up to be the actual closing set of the Sword and Shield era, which unfortunately is not able to round up 2021 because of release restrictions. This is basically the Cosmic Eclipse equivalent, to put it simply. As of the time of me making this video, I'm actually lacking the relevant information to properly rank it, but at the rate it's going to surpass even Evolving Skies, which this set aside is my set of the era. That's because it includes Smash Hit Set VMAX Climax. Damn! That set is so good. Like, it's... Okay, it's a rather large claim, so I won't say it. You might hear it. You might hear me say it in the streams, but it's basically full of hits. You get 4 CHRs and 1 CSR, or at least a minimum of 3 CHRs and 1 CSR per box in Japan. So in here, I'd say we get around 3 to 4 CHRs per booster box. Maybe the CSRs will take the place of VMAX, hopefully? We don't know, because that's a new rarity introduced that we have no idea about. So, you know, it's kind of curious. And we don't know if the full set will be included in Brilliant Star. So, in that sense, it could drop a bit. But as of now, they've confirmed at least 30 cards. So we know for sure that there are a number of these cards that will make it to the set. And what's more, if you have been keeping up with the news, you can see that the Charizard V-Star, Arceus V-Star, Shaymin V-Star, what are they? They are VMAXs, right? They're basically VMAXs. Do they look like VMAXs to you? I'll give you a few seconds. The answer is, of course, no! They're not. They don't look like VMAXs. They have, in fact, I'll put it up on screen now. Look at the Pikachu V full art. Look at its background. And now, look at the Charizard V-Star's background. Look at that. It has the same kind of design and the same amount of attention as a full art. What the heck is that? That bodes quite well for the next generation of cards. Of course, it's quite unfair because this is one generation ahead. The V-Star is basically the Diamond Pearl Platinum generation, so kind of unfair, but it's technically a Sword and Shield set, right? So, well, it's arguable, so leave it down in the comments if you think it's fair and whether I should include this. But personally, I think it's part of Sword and Shield because of VMAX Climax. And yeah, you can see all the way at the top, a star set, which this belongs to, ranking above Evolving Skies. But of course, that's with the assumption that it lives up to every part of its hype, which means including most of the VMAX Climax, excluding all the reprints, because VMAX Climax is mostly a reprint set, and including all the CHRs, CSRs, trainers. You know, I've actually talked about this with some people, but they've mentioned that there's a good chance, and I agree that there's a good chance that they'll cut like maybe a half or maybe even 3/4 of it to make the new special set in February, the same as Champion's Path and Shining Fates. We'll see, but as of now, assuming it lives up to its full potential, I'm putting it up there. Star tier for Brilliant Star. Anyway, that's it from me for the tier list. It's looking rather balanced, I'd say. We might have some disagreements, as some of these are actually rather close to moving up to another tier or dropping another tier, but generally at the extremes, I'd say I'm rather fixed on that. So between A, B, and C, I would demote or promote some of these. You know, maybe in my mind, I might not make a video to update this unless something huge changes. But yeah, this is my tier list of 2021 and then end of the Sword and Shield era. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like, subscribe to this channel. Check me out on Twitch. I'll be probably opening more VMAX Climax boxes soon. And if you like this video, give it a like and leave some comments below if you disagree with my list, because I know I have some replies on my comment that a lot of people disagree with me, especially about Chilling Reign. They think it belongs in the S tier. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Well, anyway, I'll check you guys soon. This video will probably be uploaded close to and before Christmas. So yeah, Merry Christmas everyone. Hopefully you enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you all next time.